going on, people? Welcome to another episode of the Mike Roach podcast, brought to you by the one and only OXP Media and the Battle Canada series. Now, as you can see here, I got a big-time guest here, guys. A big-time guest. Mr. Sheray Thomas, head coach for Lakeland College and former Kentucky Wildcats. Sheray, how you doing, my brother? Long time.
A long time, man. It's a long time. I'm doing good. I remember back in the days when you guys were living in NDG, man. I used to come see you as a little one, you and your brother.
Yeah, man. It was a young pup. I used to see you all the time, you and my brother playing ball. Since I was probably like 9-10 years old, man. I was watching you kill those cats out there in MTL, man.
Yeah, we had a legendary team, man. I mean, basketball back then in general was good vibes. A lot of talented players from around the area, from around Montreal. So it was good. We had a real special team though.
So tell me what life is like for you now. You're the head coach for Lakeland College. For everyone who doesn't know where that is, tell them where that is and how has coaching been out there for you?
It's in Lloydminster, Alberta. It's about 2 hours away from Edmonton, 2 hours away from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan as well. So it's a border city. So you live on one side of the road, you're in Alberta. You live on the other side of the road, you're in Saskatchewan. So it's a small town, but it's good for basketball. It's good for what we're trying to do coaching wise.
How did you end up out there? How did the opportunity come for you?
I was playing basketball. I was in the NBL Canada at the time.
What team were you playing for?
I was playing for the Mill Rats. I was playing for the Mill Rats out in St. John's. So I was thinking about what I want to do if I want to go back overseas. If I want to go back to NBL Canada. My girlfriend, that's my wife now at the time. She was playing ball overseas. She was trying to get serious. So I started looking for jobs, and I got a call back for an interview. And the guy who interviewed me was Phil Allen. He's the all-time winningest coach in the CCAA. He passed away probably about 3 years ago now. Rest in peace to Phil. But he called me and said, "There's an opportunity for you to, get your feet wet in coaching as assistant coach. Probably jump into the head coaching role. It's a small town, but if you're really trying to be serious and get into this, let's do it." So I took the opportunity. I was still getting basketball emails from agents and whatnot, but I decided to let that go and jump into coaching.
When did you know that you wanted to be a coach?
Oh, probably at Kentucky.
Really?
Probably my junior year. You start noticing different things about the game. You start appreciating the coaching aspect, seeing the players aspect of things, picking up certain things, see how you impact people's lives as a coach, and just want to teach the game. A lot of people can play the game, but it's a different story to teach what you learn and impact people's lives. So that's when I learned. I said, that's what I want to do. Which
coach had the biggest impact on your life?
I can't say one in general. There's so many. There's so many to my coach in LaSalle Catholic, Craig O'Brien, who first pretty much made me take basketball serious. He's a guy that's probably, I don't know how tall he is, but just for sake, I'll say he's about 5'8", 5'9". He's the one that actually, taught me how to dunk, really, the footsteps, to get that technique and the confidence. Then, you have guys like Pat Sullivan, who's a legendary Sun Youth coach, who taught us different, defenses and really grind on us. You have Jim from Sun Youth, who was kind of stickler. I know one of his favorite coaches was Bobby Knight, who's a controversial coach, so old school.
Yeah.
But they instill that discipline in you. You have my legendary coach out there in the DMV at Riverdale Baptist, Coach Lou Wilson, who's a legendary coach. He actually got Coach of the Decade a few years ago in the Washington, D.C. area, and is still coaching. He's the one that really, showed me about the confidence and really, put the ball in my hands and allow me to be the player that, can get to the D1 level and work on my weaknesses. And then you have, Tubby Smith, who's another legendary coach, who's a Hall of Famer, who won, over 70% of his games. Then you have my coaches from overseas as well that, they
you
all
played a lot of basketball, my friend. You've played a lot of basketball.
Yeah. I might be rambling on, but you take bits and pieces, the good and some of the bad from all the coaches, and you just try to learn and twist it into your own.
Do you have any stories of humbling lessons that you've learned maybe at Kentucky or NBL Canada or playing overseas or anything? Like something happens to you and you're like, damn, I can't make this mistake again.
Oh man, there's so many. I mean, my time at Kentucky, Kentucky, it's basketball religion. Basketball's a religion there. There is no NBA. It's the mini NBA. You go to the mall, guys are wanting autographs, girls, you're eating, guys are coming up to you. So it's the greatest fan in the world, but the expectations are off the charts. There's tons. I could go back from Kentucky where, I missed a game-winning shot, against LSU. You're on the front page of the paper there. You're going to the class and everybody at the paper and looking at you like, how'd you miss that shot?
Man.
So you get that experience, you get that pro experience right away.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's one of them. There's so many. There's so many lessons that are like, I don't really want to do that again. It doesn't feel so good.
Yeah. So when did you find out that you were going to be a serious prospect? You know what I mean? Before you got to Kentucky and you were looking at schools and stuff, when did you really say yo, this is happening? They're taking me serious here.
When I was 14, and I played a 19 and under Sunny traveling team. So I'm playing with guys, 5 years older than me. I'm the only 14-year-old on the team. I might be the only 14-year-old to ever play with that team. So I'm playing with guys, like I said, like Terry, who was a legendary point guard, and playing with a lot of older Sun Youth guys that took me under the wing. And we traveled actually to Louisville, Kentucky. It was a hoop fest, and we're hooping down there. We're doing all right, but we're losing some games as well. So Pat puts me in the game, and I think Terry was a part of that as well to get me some experience. And I'm out there and we're losing. I score about 6 to 8 points in a row, right towards the end of the game. And I'm playing against guys 19 and under, and the gym has some scouts in there and whatnot. So after the experience, I get back home, and then I'm getting flooded with mail, from Colgate, from North Carolina, from schools like that. So at that time, I thought I was the best basketball player. Obviously, at that confidence, you think you're one of the best in the area. But that kind of stamped it to say, okay, people are looking, and there's an opportunity here to take this a little bit further.
Okay. So now you as a coach at Lakeland, how do you sell Lakeland College to a prospect that you want to join your club?
Yeah, I sell myself. I sell somebody that's been through the process, somebody that's at a young age. I remember when platforms, internet platforms that just came out that had me ranked as the best player in Canada at 14 years old, and had your brother second. on the list.
Mm.
So I just tell them about the experience, tell them about the experience of playing at Kentucky, tell them about the experience of playing professional basketball overseas and in Canada, and how I can take the game to the next level. There's so many different roads to this thing. I was fortunate enough to play at Kentucky, but guys nowadays, guys can make it from anywhere. You have guys, that can make it to the NBA from the CCAA. You have guys that, can go to youth sport and make it to the NBA or have a longer career than somebody that plays at Duke.
Karim Mane from Montreal just signed with the Orlando Magic. Yeah.
That's what I have in mind. I mean, there's him and there's so many other great players, right, that are around. And I don't think people really realize, the level of basketball, and with platforms like yourself that give people the marketing that they want. So right now we're in a pandemic, but guys can recruit on Zoom or across different other platforms. So yeah, that's why I pretty much say it's not like it was said to me. I tell people that, it's a time to come here, get your schooling in, and get better, and you can make the next level.
What do you think about post-secondary basketball overall in general when it comes to Canada? Because I still think they're doing a terrible job overall. I'll speak for where I am in the greater Toronto area. I think they're doing an awful job with the way that the game is marketed, the leagues. But what's your opinion of it?
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah. There's so much talent in the CCAA, and that's not talking about players. I'm talking about coaches as well. And it definitely could be marketed, a little bit better. But everything comes down to funding, right? Players want to go to the U.S. because it's a free ride. You go to a big school, you're on national TV, so they see you a lot more. So it comes down to that, where you see the NCAA right now is they're going, they're playing, even though games are getting canceled and whatnot. Here it's an afterthought. It's thought of as extracurricular. It's for fun type. That's the deal. Where in the U.S. they take it more serious. So I believe there could be a lot more marketing. There could be a lot more investment. We need a lot more sponsorship, a lot more government funding for CCAA, and not only CCAA. I think youth sport. They would have a lot more of the players that go across the state. And also, I would say the national team as well. I played on the national team, and I think we're at a level now that we should be at least top 5, if not number 2, in the world basketball-wise. We have
agreed, 100% agree with that.
We have the second most, players in the NBA, and we have, and not to mention all the talented players that that are overseas that could possibly play in the NBA that might not have had the chance. So without a doubt, we should be top 2. But it's not like hockey. For us, hockey is traditional. It's like the U.S. for basketball. It's a tradition. People want to represent, and see that USA across their chest and win it. We're here. It's kind of like, if you do it, great. But it's nothing to cover those big time guys, insurance wise, and make them really want to do it.
Well, what are your aspirations like when it comes to coaching? How high do you want to take this?
How high as I can go, wherever. If that's youth sport, if that's NCAA, if that's NBA, if that's national team, I'm all for it. Like I said, I've been through a lot of experiences, and I feel that I'm ready for the next step. I've been coaching here. This is going to be my 6th year as the head coach here. I only haven't made the playoffs, one time, and that was actually last year. When I took the head coaching job, they didn't win a playoff game in 6 years. I took it my first year, and we won multiple every year. We were a top 8 team in Canada a couple of years ago and went to nationals for the second time ever in men's basketball history of this college. And I look at the stuff that I've learned in D1, and I look at some of the other coaches that are teaching that stuff, and I teach that here. You know, I try to make it like it's a Division I school. Just, you know, we don't have the resources.
So as you reminisce back over the years of your coaching career so far, what are some of the things you know now that you didn't know when you started?
Man, you have to juggle so many different things. You really have to juggle. You know, it's easy to, you know, to sit on the couch and judge a player, you know, for missing a layup, or, you know, everybody's the greatest coach from the sidelines, on the couch or in the stands. But it's different when you take the head coaching seat, even from assistant coach to the head coach. Mm-hmm. It's different because the decisions rest on you, you know. So the real thing with basketball for me is you have to develop players, but not only that, the biggest thing is you have to manage personalities. That's the biggest thing. If you look at the coaches that have won, obviously they have the talent, but you have to juggle and manage those personalities. You have to manage the MJs, the Kobe's. You have to manage the Dennis Rodmans. You have to manage the LeBrons.
So does that mean everyone is not equal, or they are equal, but you just have to kind of know the buttons to push for certain?
Yeah. Obviously, not everybody's equal. Obviously, you actually want to treat the star players tougher than the players, so they know that you're serious and it means business. And if you get on them, then they have to be held accountable too. But you know how I can talk to you, I might not be able to talk to another player and get the same thing out of them, right? Mm-hmm. If I talk to you and raise my voice and get mad, you might shut down, where another kid might say, it's go time. You know, I'm running through this wall. Coach means business.
Yeah, that's interesting. I never really heard it that type of way before. Yeah.
And I tell my players too, even when they're playing, because we all come from different backgrounds, different life lessons. So somebody that, you know, is taught all their life to fight, that's all they know to do. So whenever you come to them, their first instinct is to fight, right? And another person, they might know how to lead, you know, already, but they just don't know how to. So it's different conversations. And I tell my players, just, you know, get the same message across, but say it differently. I might be able to talk publicly to you in front of the rest of the team, and then another player might be out to talk personal, right? Because they'll shut down and think I'm trying to gang up against them.
You coach with a chip on your shoulder? Like, do you have anything you want to prove to anyone?
Always. Not to anybody, to myself.
What is that? What is that?
I always want to be the best. I always want to, you know, get past or, you know, surpass my last goal. That's always been my thing. Even, you know, as a player in Montreal, when I left to go to the U.S. at 15 years old, you know, and guys were saying, yeah, you're good here. You're good in Montreal, but, you know, when you get to the U.S., you know, you'll be back. There's plenty of guys your size, and you'll be back. So I was like, yeah, okay. You know, I won't be. I have my goal. And that's the same thing. And when we played for, you know, when I went to tournaments with Sun Youth and camps, and guys in the U.S. are like, you guys are from Canada? You know, you guys are soft. Or you guys live in igloos? And we're like, what? And then after the game, when we beat them by 50, we're like, are we soft? Do we live in igloos? you know that. So you always, for me, it's always a chip for myself, not really to prove anything to anybody else, just for myself.
What keeps you inspired when you wake up in the morning every day? What keeps you going?
Oh man, you're hitting me with the questions. Everything, man. My kids, my wife, you know, my friends, my family. Just waking up here in 2020, man. Nothing's promised, right? So when I get out of bed, I want to be an inspiration to my 5-year-old son and my 3-year-old daughter. They're oblivious to the world, so they see you as a standard. So for that's what I really want to inspire. Who my kids I want to inspire, and not only that, you know, my players as well. There's plenty of life lessons that you could teach these guys as a coach, because like I said, they come from different backgrounds and they might know only one way. And then when you talk to them, you know, they can kind of see it, or if they don't see it, they can see it later on. Because I've told players, like, okay, this is the situation. If you do this, this is going to be the result. If you do this, this is going to be the result. And yeah. I mean, we were all young. And then I get phone calls later like Coach, you were right. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I look to inspire as many people as possible, but primarily probably my immediate family and my players.
Now, tell me something specific that you have learned since having children. Because children, when you have children, it makes you see things differently from a lot of different standpoints. What's something you understand now after having kids that you didn't really understand before?
That's a tough question. See now and realize now. I mean, life is precious, man. Just seeing those little kids, you know, you really realize that that's about them, passing down whatever you can, the knowledge to the next generation. And it makes you a little bit softer, right? You know, and you probably, you know, attest to this. You know, you love your kids the same, but kind of differently at the same time. I know for me, my love for my son is different from my daughter. My son, I kind of want to be, you know, a little bit more stern with, you know, and try to teach him life lessons that way, be a little bit tougher with. With my daughter, it's a little bit different. You want to teach her, you know, different lessons, but at the same time, you want to teach her the same ones and not be as stern with her. So it's interesting. I know it's for us when you know, growing up, you really realize like the love you have for your kids. You know, you really don't realize the love that your parents have for you. You think you do until you have kids.
Yes, that is 100% true. Would you consider, not necessarily your coaching gig now, but would you consider coaching as a dream job?
Yeah. That's why I want to make my profession. That's why I think my profession is coaching. And you know, God willing, I get an opportunity to really impact more lives at a higher level, and reach some of the goals I have.
I mean, what's the worst job you've ever had?
The worst job I've ever had.
Let me tell you. Hold on. Before you even answer this, man, I remember was I in college at this time, or did I just finish college, man? Man, I was looking for a job. I was hurting. I couldn't find anything. And then I think it was like around Thanksgiving or Christmas. I think it was around Christmas or sometime. And I get this call. They're like, "Oh, we got some work for you." You know, like when you're looking for a job and you're going through an agency. So I get this. So I get this call, and it'll be like, "All right, we're gonna get you to come into this warehouse, and we're gonna get you to stack some turkeys." Stack some turkeys. I'm like, all right, well, this can't be too tough. I'll get a quick paycheck, stack some turkeys. So I get into this warehouse. All right.
Mm-hmm.
No mention of you're going to be inside a freezer.
It's cold. You didn't know how cold it was be.
Oh.
You thought it was cold outside until you got in that freezer.
Dude, inside the freezer, these are the biggest, heaviest ass turkeys I have ever seen in my entire life. I'm inside a freezer. I got stacking turkeys on top of each other over my damn head. My back is all messed up. Man, I remember one day they said it was lunchtime, man. I just went up there, went to the lunchroom, picked up my school bag and just left. I just walked. They're like, if you leave right now, they're like, you ain't going to get paid. I'm like, I don't care. I'm out of here. Goodbye.
I'm chucking the deuces. I know I feel you, but that taught you a lesson though, right?
It did.
No, for me, I haven't had too many jobs, man. That's basketball has been my life, to be honest with you. So I was playing basketball before this job. And And so after basketball, this has been more basketball. So I can't really say what the worst job is. Yeah, I'll leave it there. I can't really say of any teams that were the worst teams I went to. So I'll kind of leave it at that.
What do you think you'd be doing career-wise if you weren't coaching? Like let's say if you weren't in sports altogether.
That's another tough one, man. I'm a sports guy, so I'm sports through and through, But another part of my gig is I do fund development, so I go out and get sponsorships, and talk to business people about sponsoring the athletic program or sponsoring the college, which is very interesting because you sit in the room and you try to get your point across about how you can market different businesses and try to get funding for the school. So that's my other gig. So I guess that would be my other job since that's what else I'm doing, right?
All right, just got a couple more for you, 2 more for you. Walk me through a game day for you from the moment you wake up in the morning until after the game.
As a player or as a coach?
As a coach.
As a coach, okay. As a coach, I'm waking up and probably, looking at some more film, seeing where we can get some more advantages, seeing the weak spots of the other team's defense and offense, seeing where I could tweak a little things. Then generally we have a little pregame where we come in, and that's where I kind of, touch on those points as far as where we can really key in on the game. I come back home, I chill, sometimes take a little nap, sometimes I don't. Then I'm with the family, getting them ready, and maybe watching some other basketball, probably some NBA games are on or whatnot, and tuning into that, watching that. Then I head over and, probably an hour before game time or an hour and a bit, hour and a half, put my keys on the board, give my speech, and then it's go time.
Okay. A last question for you. If you had the chance to sit down and learn from anybody, past or present, who would it be?
Anybody, past
anybody, dead or alive.
That's a hard because there's so many different people you wanna talk to, right?
Mm-hmm.
As a coach, it'd probably be Phil Jackson, just because he managed the greatest players, in my opinion, the greatest player alive or greatest player ever. And then, Kobe that passed. And then he had some characters in there as well, right? Mm-hmm. So I want to learn from him. On the rap side, I'm a Pac guy, right? I'm a Tupac guy. So he's been passed away for a long time, and just the different things that he went through, just as trying to teach the culture. He had the tough side to him where he's kind of misunderstood, and then he had the Black Panther movement where he's trying to teach and humble people as well. So those two guys, as far as kind of those genres of basketball and rap, then you got personal people you would like to bring back and touch on, but I'll just leave it at those two for now.
That's awesome, man. Sheray, thank you, brother, for taking the time to do this. It's been a long time coming. Congratulations on everything that you're doing out there, turning that program around. And before you get out of here, so what is the situation like in regards to like COVID and playing and all that stuff out there? Because I know it's a little bit different for all the different regions depending on what the numbers and stuff are like. Are you guys going to be playing and stuff, or?
So right now the season is canceled. They canceled CCAA and U Sport. In different regions and different provinces, you might be able to play some exhibition games. So tonight will actually be our last practice of the first semester. Wasn't planned that way. We found out last night that it will be just because some of the restrictions that the SAS government and Alberta government jointly put forward. So we're hoping to have a good one tonight. Have kids stay put or go home, come back for second half, and hopefully numbers go down across the board. I know you guys are in lockdown over there in Toronto.
Yeah.
Kind of Montreal has been the red zone for months now. Here it's getting that way. So we hope the numbers go down, and we hope that we'll be able to get some exhibition games probably, in February sometime. That's the extent of it.
Perfect. All right. Thank you, man. Sheray Thomas, head coach for Lakeland College and former Kentucky Wildcat. Thank you so much for being on the show, man.
Appreciate it. Thanks, legend. Appreciate it.